All right, so today we're going to be taking a look at an application of a linear perspective and the creation of letter forms that are three-dimensional. And we know that letters can take different styles. We have all sorts of different fonts, and within the context of graffiti, sort of three of the major forms are bubble letter, blockbuster, and wild style. So I'm going to just, through the series, kind of explore some of the different approaches, helping you to kind of see how perspective and letters can interact in order to create that sense of three-dimensionality. Okay, so as usual, with linear perspective, step one is going to be to create our horizon line. And today we're going to be starting with 1-point perspective. All right, I'm going to select one spot here. Actually, and what I'm going to do things a little bit differently. I'm going to keep my horizon line really, really low. So it's kind of as if I'm looking more up towards the letter form that I'm going to be creating. For this particular task, I'm going to be looking at creating a form that has a hole in it, or that an opening, in order to help to, see the different faces that are at play. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to just work with the letter A and a bubble letter. So I'm going to kind of create my letter. Right, I'm drawing very, very lightly here. Right, and I'm going to add in my different forms here, my different areas. Okay, and then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create the opening here, just using a very similar technique with the little dots and drawing in the form. Okay, so step one, okay, is kind of establishing where I want the letter to look like. I've got sketchy lines that I'm going to come back and reinforce with longer fluid lines, like so. And what we're going to be doing is introducing the idea of a tangent with these curved lines. Right? So the tangent is essentially wherever a line hits a curved surface. Right? So to do this, I'm going to be positioning my ruler so that the pencil is on the vanishing point and my ruler is butted up against it. And in order to get the tangent, I'm just going to move the ruler over until it touches the edge of the curve. And then I'm going to draw my line out. So what I'm looking for as I do this are any distinct points. Okay, so like in here, there's a point that I'm going to want to kind of bring out. And again, I'm going to be looking for some tangents here. So I've got a tangent here, and the edge is going to come across, right? So that is a tangent, but it's in behind the object. And I'm going to swing this across, and now I've got a tangent here from the top, but it stops as it gets to the bottom part of the A, and then this is going to come across again a little bit farther, and I've got this through here. Okay, so the next thing that I need to do is to sort of figure out how deep do I want this letter form to be, right? And when we were doing this with the block, we were kind of measuring and making sure that everything was parallel. And when we're dealing with curved forms, we don't have that ability. We have to rely on our artist's intuition maybe a little bit more. So I'm going to come through and I'm going to start drawing in where I think the line is going to be. And I'm going to try and mimic this curve here on the line that creates the depth. And then, again, try and mimic and parallel those two lines here. Once I have that established, I can start erasing some of these vanishing lines that I don't actually need anymore. And again, I'm going to try and kind of make sure that I've got the same sense of depth over here. Right, following, making sure that the curve is kind of the same, erasing the lines that I don't need, And then here, right, the line's going to come across something like this. And I'm going to erase that part of the line. Okay. So with the depth of this, right, the whole side here is going to basically be at the same value, right? So in order to help make this look a little bit more three-dimensional, I'm going to come in, I'm going to use my medium tone here. And I'm going to start adding this in here. This is a pretty dark tone, but it'll still work, right? And I want to be fairly, again, consistent with the application of these tones. So I'm going to come over on this side here. This is pretty much the same. And I'm going to be reserving my darker tone for that lower part of the A. Okay. And the same thing up here, this is going to be the same tone. These are sort of, think about it as what areas or what surfaces are receiving the same amount of exposure to light. Okay. So the darker spaces, okay, are going to be tucked up underneath in here. Right, as well as this is going to be a fairly dark space as well. Okay, so by adding in right, just two simple tones, right, we have a lighter value that's out the front, and right, I kind of fill this in, right. I don't think it'll make too much of a difference here, but we'll just quickly flush that out. And just so we can kind of get a quick sense of how that separates from the background. Okay, so by adding that little bit of value, right, extending, looking for that key word, the tangent, where the line hits the very edge of a curved surface, you're going to be able to help create a sense of three-dimensionality using something like a bubble letter. All right, give that a go. Try a letter out of your own name. You know, having the opening here is definitely going to be adding an extra level of challenge, right? And play around with how deep the lettering is in order to create that sense of three-dimensionality. All right, so with that, give it a go. If you have any questions, let me know. Post what you have done, and good luck. Take care. Bye.